They looked like just another couple lost in the sprawl of Los Angeles. Nothing special, nothing threatening. A nurse and a smooth-talking drifter. But behind the wheel of a beat-up van, Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy were predators hiding in plain sight. In the summer of 1980, they turned the city's highways into a dumping ground, stalking the forgotten corners of the night, luring young girls in with charm and fake promises, and leaving their bodies sprawled along the freeway like discarded secrets. What followed wasn't just a killing spree. It was a slow descent into a twisted relationship built on blood, power, and manipulation. This is the story of the Freeway Murders, a tale of two killers, one city, and the darkness that drives the worst kind of evil. The kind that doesn't need a reason. They cruised the freeways like vultures hunting under the neon haze of Los Angeles. Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy weren't thrill killers in the movie sense. They were the kind of quiet, festering rot that sits unnoticed in daylight. He was slick, smug, a narcissist with a gun fetish and a taste for control. She was desperate, emotionally broken, and willing to follow him straight into hell if it meant feeling loved. Together, they carved a path of death across Southern California in 1980, preying on girls no one would miss. Runaways, sex workers, kids trying to survive on the fringe. It was easy, too easy. They offered rides, smiles, cigarettes, a sense of safety. And then Clark would pull out his pistol as calmly as lighting a smoke and take a life like it meant nothing. The media called them the Sunset Strip Killers, but that name didn't fit the mess they left behind. These weren't stylish, clever crimes. They were raw, impersonal, mechanical. Clark liked to shoot his victims in the head, quick, no struggle, like changing the channel. He talked about it like it was sport, bragged about it, replayed it in his head like a favorite movie scene. He'd drive around with the bodies for hours sometimes, cool as ice, trying to relive the power rush. Bundy, for her part, helped clean up the mess. Sometimes she joined in. Other times, she just watched. She told herself it was love, but she knew. She knew every time she got back in the van and didn't say a word. Bodies started turning up on freeway shoulders and in alleyways, dumped like trash, faceless, forgotten. LAPD didn't have much to go on. No patterns, no fingerprints, just young girls with no one looking for them and bullets lodged in their skulls. The cops had theories, pimps, gangs, other creeps. But Clark and Bundy kept slipping through. They were nobodies, office drones, apartment-dwelling nobodies with a taste for blood. What finally brought it down wasn't police work. It was guilt, or maybe ego. Bundy cracked. She told a coworker everything one night. The murders, the bodies, the man she couldn't leave. It was a drunken confession, but it was enough. Cops moved fast. Clark, ever the egomaniac, thought he could out-talk the system. He represented himself in court, throwing out wild theories and pointing fingers at Bundy. He called himself the victim, the manipulated one. It was pathetic, but it worked well enough. He avoided execution for decades. Meanwhile, Bundy flipped on him, took a plea, and rotted in prison. She died behind bars in 2003, quietly, like she lived. Clark held out on death row until 2021, when time finally did what the justice system couldn't. No final words, no closure. Just a quiet death for a man who spent years talking like he was untouchable. The story faded from headlines, buried under newer monsters with newer names, but the echoes of those freeway nights never really stopped. The asphalt remembers. The shadows remember. And for every nameless girl Clark dumped by the roadside, there's a part of this city that still hums with that old dread. That gut feeling that something evil once passed by, slow and smiling with the windows rolled down.